instructions a little bit later, but for now, we are going to head into Agent Select for the first map, Ascent, the map that we didn't expect to see first today, but so far, with the Agent picks at least, Mitch, no surprises.
I think when you look at Safe playing a Cypher, it's something that's going to be kind of interesting to me on this map. Like, FPX are historically very good at playing against Cyphers, and they've got a couple of games on record here, the one versus Heretics in particular, where they can possibly get a very good read on exactly how he wants to play this one. But we are seeing Angel going for a bit of a different approach.
Oh my gosh, yes. Sorry, I just noticed that. Tom, what did you make of that as well?
This is scary. If you're on the other side and
Upped it up, and I think when they played FPX, they had a Killjoy as well. So it's slightly different, but at the same time, we've seen them recently pick up that Cypher throughout the open quals. We've seen them on stream do it. So I think at that point, FPX will be able to look at exactly how they're playing it. And I'm excited to see if there's any changes. But yeah, FPX, big changes, lots of things going differently. And as we start out the pistol round here, you're going to see Guild on the defensive side, and they have heavily stacked up the A side of the map. Look at this. There is one player outside of B, and even now he's rotating the middle. This is the hardest early round retake in a pistol that I've seen on Ascent.
Well, yeah, and I'm more worried about the fact that FPX have just run straight down mid. So you could already see that you've got Angel peeking in towards the B site where there's currently nobody on it. The Spike is there with him as well. We've got Zipan on Sage, which is something I was so excited to see last time. Like, he was someone who performed so fantastically well, and it gives them so much ability, especially on the defense, to just shut down angles. Like, okay, you want to go B main? Well, you got to break a wall. Okay, you want to try and take any control on A? Well, you got to break a wall. And they faked this. Now, the problem with Angel's big brain in this situation is that Guild have ignored it.
Yeah, they're just tucked down on the A side still with 4 players, had their wall up now to block off the doorway. This is absolutely huge. It seems like Guild knew exactly what FPX would do in this round. Draken, he's got an angle around that smoke, able to pick up one, and looks for a bit more as he fades away. Unfortunately, only death awaits, and FPX maintain the man advantage. They know there's at least 2 players here. They know for sure that it's Sage and the Sova due to the utility coming out, so they're rotating straight away. Takedown Bonker on that fight is back broken. They'll get the site, and an easy plant and a 4v2 as the retake's attempted. Couple of players low, but this is pretty favorable for FPX.
This was down to less than a second. I saw Zipan hesitating, and I was like, oh, no, go, just go. Get yourself to the site. You saw a little bit of an aggressive peek from, I think it was Bonker, trying to deny their rotations completely, and if he dropped the spike, he would have won the round. Unfortunately, now, in a 2 versus 4 situation, Demasic will allow nothing. It is going to be FPX to take the pistol, and it's one of those sort of rounds where you look at it and you go, okay, that was a very, very good read from Guild initially, but the mid-round call that came out from FPX was pretty good.
Observer's playing with 0.9 sense, Tom. I don't know. That's a bit high for me. I'd be spinning in circles. What's your sense again?
I think it's like 0.7 something.
7? I'm 0.28.
Sure.
What is this?
Maybe it's a little bit less.
Just spin botting around. I mean, it all depends to DPI and all that sort of stuff. For FPX, that round win is huge. Guild played it so well. And in fact, I think FPX were trying to bait Yassine into pushing because Dimasic was like lurking outside. In this round, it's not too much of a surprise that you're getting, or you should be getting, just domination from FPX, right? Especially when spamming through a smoke, you've got yourself a Phantom. It's as easy as can be. The Spectres cleaning house, and they know Safe's in the corner. But yeah, Dimasic was waiting for Yassine to push, I'm pretty sure, because they're baiting out like mid presence, B, putting a wall up, and Dimasic slowly shifted up A, waiting for that guy to come. He didn't, so at that point they presume, okay, they've rotated through spawn to B, let's go A, but no, Guild just waited, and I think they knew that FPX liked to posture a little bit and not fully commit until they play those mind games, which ultimately almost cost them.
Well, we finally get our buy. Now, there were actually a few rifles bought into the last round and even invested further into this one. So FPX not playing the sort of traditional bonus round we see from a lot of teams where you might have some pistols in there still. No, it's mostly going to be rifles, in fact, which might actually catch off a few players. An aggressive start to the round from Safe, and this is where he falls. Now, one of the main ways that they tried to react in the last match between these two teams was, okay, our initial strategies aren't working. Let's try get aggressive into mid. Now, I want to posture that by saying it didn't work, they got destroyed. Yassine, however, has continued that same run of form as he goes pushing all the way through into A, and Angel, he's caught the timing there. The gap in the wall, he goes peeking in off the back of the dismiss, and Draken, he's trying to hold them, but the problem is there is a split coming through from the remaining players.
There is indeed. Bonker's going to have to do a lot of work on this backside as they just split right into the site. Coming down the alleyway now, he hears the steps, he knows they're close, and now it's all about picking your moment to peek out. Here's both players drop to the site, conscious of more, but at that exact moment, Shao swings out and takes the kill. At this point, 2v4, 1v4, your chances are pretty low, with only Yassine left alive, but this guy, he's feeling it recently, he's got the confidence, they know where he is, they're holding it as he walks out in the double peak of death, as Angel takes a 3k, and 3 rounds for FPX on the board.
Yeah, I'm all for confidence, Mitch, but that... I think you saved the gun. Like, I don't know how he expected to win that in a 1 versus 4. This was a bit of a surprise as well. Like, the timing couldn't be worse for Leo, of course, because he does look away. And I don't know if there was a call that there could be pressure coming into B main. But if you just witness someone break that wall, I feel like looking away from it is a massive risk that was taken there by Guild. And you have to take into consideration that there was still a couple of SMGs there, and FPX basically just made bank off that round.
Absolutely, yeah, the money is riding high, and not only did they make bank off that round, they should be making bank off this round, realistically. But you never know. The bookies, now remember, we're on patch 2.05, which is not the currently live one in matchmaking, so the difference...
Bucky.
Exactly. Then the Bucky is pre-nerf. It is strong, and that's why we're seeing Leo and Safe use it right now. This can be incredible. Also, why we're not seeing very much Viper. But just you wait. Just you wait.
Mitch is waiting. He's like, please, please, new update, please. I want my Viper to be good. Plays
and of course,
every game of unrated you'll ever see.
And ranked,
and in ranked.
That's how we hit Immortal. I wasn't playing Viper, honestly. That was the issue. But yeah, the 3-0 that we've got for FPX should be further buckled down on. The fact that... Oh, hold on. Here it is. No! You hate to see it, man. So that's the problem with the right click. When they're a little close, you can completely miss them altogether. Bonker's very low HP coming through that smoke. He wants to push. He's waiting for the sound cue. There it is. Oh, no, he's going to wait for them to push into him. Very patient. I respect it. But no one comes his way. And with him low, Yassine and Drake and only having pistols and the advantages FPX have, I think if you can just find 1, maybe 2 more kills, you know, you're walking away with a smile on your face because they have to do something to combat the credits that FPX have already built up.
I think the other thing as well is, it may only be a small detail at this stage of the game, but if you can get a couple of extra ult charges as well, like you'd look at Yassine, Bonker, and in fact Draken, although his utility will mainly be used for rotations. If you get that Hunter's Fury a round earlier, or a section earlier, or even get any of the particular the ults they have available up a little bit earlier just based off a kill here, that's going to help you going into your buy rounds. And well, we know Yassine with that showstopper can get aggressive. Bonker already going to be finding 1 little bit of extra damage, and Draken, well, realistically, he either wants to take someone with him and then die. Like, that's the goal. Although he actually does manage to retrieve a rifle. So it's not going to be too bad. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything to deny it unless he goes peeking.
He's peeking.
Which, again, he's looking to try and make things costly, and he'll still get his lost bonus money anyway.
Yeah, I actually think that's worthwhile, him going in to kill there, because he manages to find 1, comes very close to saving the rifle anyways, and he can afford to invest. The question here wasn't, oh, can they save a weapon through to the next round? Like, yeah, okay, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they did. It wouldn't be the best thing ever. The question was, can they make FPX lose a lot of their credits? And even with all the kills they got, look at how stacked the economy is for the attackers. They have got more than enough money for a buy in the next round, possibly the one after. So that kill was important to stop it going even more out of control, and they ignore the recon. Oh, that almost cost some lives. Angel luckily only getting tickled up. I think it was a wall bang even that connected. Unfortunately, Draken isn't as lucky, peeking out on short when his teammates are smoked on mid. Well, it hasn't worked out this time, Tom.
Yeah, I think they also placed a gravity well there from Shadow as well, just to make sure that if they did want to push forward, he could just deny them. He could just hold them in spot, and any pre-fires through the Nebula would just do even more, or have more of a chance of actually netting them a kill. The other thing as well, as I said, like a lot of the response that you'll see from Guild in these early rounds is to try and get more aggressive. And you're looking at a team that has one of the strongest defaults in the whole of Europe. Like FPX are more than happy to play the first minute or so of a round, not really taking any map control and just patiently waiting for you to face into them. And so far, that's all they've really had to do, because they've been battled, they've been brawled in mid, and they've won every single opener.
Leo's on the backside here. Let's see. They've lost the opener, but maybe he can open up the site. He's creeping around the smoke. Knows where it's being planted at the moment. There's a kill for Leo. One for your scene. Okay. Guild are back here to play. Man advantage goes their way. Boom bot almost getting the damage off as well. A player spotted towards the generator. He swings wide, but of course Zipan gets that one. Looking for a little bit more. What is Zipan doing, man? 3 kills on the board, and with one more for Xiao, it's left into a clutch situation. The Cypher of Safe with it all to do. Out goes the Recon as he looks for some victims, and he just can't do a thing. They know he's not sticking it just yet. He'll eventually go back to it and put it halfway. Hey, there's a kill, and he can go the full distance now. He's actually got it on timing. They can't get to him in time. The clutch from Safe, the 1v2. Despite the best efforts of FPX, they give a round over to Guild at last.
I'm really surprised they split up. Like, obviously the chance of you getting a double kill if you both peek out of that door is actually higher than in most positions, because it is quite a tight choke point. But the wraparound, considering the plant, didn't make a lot of sense. Xiao was nowhere near the position of Safe to actually stop him. So yeah, I'd call that partially a misplay and partially just the fact that Safe is a god in clutch situations. A first round that was a surprise from Guild. The issue comes though with their first victory being a bit of a problem for Economy, but you see, well, I think he's proving again that a lot of players right now, Mitch, they'll respect this Astra utility a little bit too much, and Yassine just says, well, you can stick me in the gravity well. If I kill you, it doesn't matter.
I do wonder if in that previous... Oh, hold on. There's the bookie play again. Gonna fall down. I mean, maybe this weapon didn't need a nerf. Not in some people's hands. The judge a weapon selection that's quite curious, and Yassine gives it a good attempt. Nothing to come out of that Hunter's Fury either. That is a tough start for Guild, really. Pulled back by Safe. Angel's quite low. Dimasic's gone. Hold on. How have Guild managed to recover this round? All of a sudden, it's in their control, but Safe is pushing. He's going all the way up. He's about to take a fight to Angel, but with his knife out, he doesn't stand a chance. Leaving Shadow, the man with possibly the worst crosshair in EU, attempting a 1v3. No ability to heal, and, well, no ability to get a kill as Safe quickly shuts him down.
It's not great, is it? We've managed to find the only thing bigger than your ego, which is obviously his crosshair.
Yeah, I don't know. Questionable one. It's a very, very questionable crosshair. I like Safes. You know, it does the job.
One enemy remaining.
Do you like it because it's small?
Go on, Tom. Finish the point. Go on. We don't.
No, I think that's all I need to say. I think everybody else has already worked out the joke in their heads, and thus I can just leave it there. It's common knowledge.
It was a campaign of hatred and misinformation against me. 4-2. Guild are going to look to do a little bit more. Now, we said FPX had a lot of cash, and now we can take a look at that again and say, well, it's not so good anymore. They've sort of outlived the grace period that they got in those early rounds. Now, if they don't win this, it could be an eco that they face into. So for Guild, this is a very important round. They still come in with some weaknesses because despite winning the rounds, they haven't all been as clean as you'd like. Bonker down on a Bulldog. Oh, Dimasic, he looks in heaven, but as he looks away, Yassine walks out. Heal coming up for Angel. He's back to 150, and the res comes in. FPX take the advantage in the early round. They'll move towards the A site and get a spike plant as Guild, well, they've got a lot to really counter this. Because look at the ultimates they've got online. Leo, especially with that res, could be huge.
Yeah, the problem is the player currently down is in a really rough spot to try and res. They're actually going to invest the wall in to try and bring it back, but it's been broken straight away. And Zipan already dropping 2 as they look to try and push back into the site. Angel will meet his opponent underneath heaven and send him back, leaving just Draken remaining. And while he may have his ult online, but I don't think sneaking through the shadows is going to help him too much in this sort of situation. It's weird to me, Mitch, that most players seem to be more confident, more aggressive when they're playing a duelist and just put up ridiculous numbers. Zipan is like literally the phrase "I am not just your healer." Like I don't understand how he seems to perform even better when being placed on a Sage.
I mean, I guess we have to credit David P for first pulling it out in EU at least consistently. The Battle Sage back in the days when he was on G2. And when you're looking at Zipan, I think that he has very much taken that, the interpretation of how to play Sage and directly copied it. It's beautiful. I love seeing him. It's just another duelist. And, you know, originally in the meta, everybody was talking about, oh, Sage is OP because of her heals. And that was one of the days I honestly fell in love with Riot when they put out the tweet and said, we think Sage is overpowered, and it's not her healing. I was like, oh, damn. They know what's up. So, for me, when I look at Sage right now, even just that res alone is so valuable. And we've seen, especially in pistol rounds, the impact that her wall can have.
Yeah, I think it's great for Zipan as well when he can go, oh, you need a res? Well, don't worry, I'll have it in 2 rounds. Like, that'll be enough for me. I'll just keep... They're also letting him plant the spike as well. It's something to note. That happens quite regularly if he's still alive. So they are literally just farming those points for him in the early stages of these rounds because, well, if you look at their squad, his ultimate is easily the most valuable. 100%. I think the next Hunter's Fury, and I wouldn't even say that's too close.
Okay, straight away Draken is opening up this round. It's a good start. He's going to get out of there as well with the Shadow Step. The advantage that they want and that they pretty much need because, again, their weapons are starting to fade away over on the guild side. You know, we're on a knife's edge when it comes down to this stage of the game. Both teams on the verge of being bankrupt in a lot of these rounds. And for Yassine picking up onto Shadow, that's even better. He's bailing out of middle as Dimisic looks to recover some form of presence. They'll make noise on the B side and give away a bit as Dimisic walks out, but quickly traded. And that's the benefit of being in a 5v3. You can afford to play 2 guys on the A side, full committing to it. They've got a wall down on short, so the only place they can come out on A is through A main. And they've got players watching mid and B. So really just perfect early round, good reactions by Guild and good repositioning to leave Xiao in a almost unwinnable spot.
He's someone who I think sometimes goes amiss within this roster just based on players like Angel and Zipan, and even Dimisic having crazy performances.
30 seconds left.
When he's put in the spot, he definitely is someone who can thrive. The problem now, the time. The first one will go his way. Draken as well spotted, but finding and isolating another duel should be relatively difficult. You can see the remaining players just trying to hold a crossfire to not allow him any extra space, and Safe is well placed to put him in the grave. I want to sort of add to what you were saying as well in how Guild played that round. They actually had both their sort of, I want to say, information finding players on opposite sides of the map. So you had Safe aggressively place his cam and actually I think tagged up Angel to get information outside of B, and then at exactly the same time you had Sova pushing through on Bonker onto the A site to find information over towards A. So they were able to at least characteristically work out, okay, this is a default, where is the space that we can actually find? And that's when Yassine actually gets an opener in mid.
Yeah, exactly. I think Guild's reaction play, and this is something I've seen in a couple of their games, seems to have improved so much in the last 2 months alone. From what we were seeing of them before to now, their reads on plays seem to be incredible. They take space, they react off that information very well. Sometimes it doesn't work out. In the pistol, we saw it on A. We saw a bit of mid presence, a bit of B spotting, and they just gambled on the A take off of the plays that FPX are making. This time, they've decided to do the same. They pushed A, they got a little bit of information, they heard nothing, and they hear noise in mid. So they rotate and play very, very heavy on B. Angel, oh, even with that Sage heal, he was being naded, shock darted. He obviously got showstopper down to 30 in the first place. He was out of that round before it even began. But Guild's initial approach was to stack up B. Now they've gone back because they've got the advantage. And this is what they want. At the start of the round, they want to take a fight. They want to get a kill. And then they'll go back and they'll just play normal because they've already got the advantage. They don't need to give it away.
Interestingly, with Angel being down, it's actually Shadow now taking up more of a look. That is a bit ugly initially, but then snaps back onto Draken. Okay, Shadow, just baiting us a little bit with the first spray, but this is all a ruse. The problem is this ruse still holds a couple of players into the B site. They haven't really baited too many of a rotation, and it leaves Leo with quite a mountain to climb, but with only 12 seconds left, he has a chance.
10 seconds left.
That he does. The cage up gives him a little bit of an angle to play off of, but now it's gone. They're gonna. Oh, there's one on the stairs. The spray transfer.
It's done.
Not quite hitting for him, and they haven't got it. It's over and done with for FPX. I mean, a little bit disappointing, I think.
But did they get the kill at the end? Was that enough for them to take the round? Like, because they wiped everyone down. So I feel like my mind has just melted in this round alone. Like, the timing of the last few seconds was everything. Like, did they actually get the victory there?
We need to see a replay. The very end of it. I think for FPX, leaving the clock so close to the end, I mean, they did. They took it 6-3, right? But it looked like the time had already gone. Maybe it hadn't. I guess we've had issues with the clock before, question mark? But yeah, very, very peculiar situation. I thought, okay, FPX, they've left the clock too long, they pushed B, they've delayed too much, there's the fight on backside, stops them planting, that's the end of the round, but no, they get it done just in the end. And a little bit of a slip-up then, so instead of being gutting for FPX, it's actually a bit of a disaster for Guild. The round that they definitely wanted under their belt, it ends up 6-3, and FPX walk away with what is now a spot that, hey, they can definitely fight from because Guild don't have any weapons. That's such an important round as well, Tom.
Casters get confused? Question mark. we've just been completely mind game, but yeah, you almost hope that last player would have just stayed alive after. I think it was Leo actually drops the spike. So yeah, a bit of a weird round, I will admit, but nonetheless, we get back into the action, and again, it's going to be an opener coming up for Guild. They've started a lot of these rounds off strong, made things a little bit more awkward for FPX with how things have started. But now we're going to see the same execution once again. They're actually going to TP a second player over into the back of the site. And because of that, FPX have gone, well, if you're going to just rotate players using ultimates, we're just going to go walking straight into the A site. It leaves a lot of this onto Yassine, and he's going to get the first. Dancing Angel will take the bullet for the rest of his teammates. And again, the clock is ticking down, but this time they should get a spike plant.
They should indeed. I don't think the clock will be their enemy at this point at all. Rez comes in, almost safe. He goes in for the right clicks, but unfortunately just not enough damage coming out of it. And 7-3 we go. FPX, they walk away with another round on the board, 7-3. And, you know, literally within a second, this could be a 5-5 scoreline for Guild. It came down to a millisecond in that previous round that then puts them in this spot with weaker weapons. They make a little bit of, they have a little bit of damage over towards FPX, but that's it. Really devastating.
We tend to dust.
Yeah, all I've learned from today is I've got to be careful of Twitch chat because we're going to get memed a lot for that, I can tell you now.
Oh, 100%.
But it came down to the second, guys. Come on, be nice. Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man, where, like, you have it in your head, you know how the round's going to end, and then it just, like, flips on its head. You're like, oh, they got it. Okay, fair enough.
This is so aggressive from Guild. I mentioned it the last time they played. When things weren't going their way, they started just taking brawly fights into mid. This time, they've pressured into B. And as we sort of mentioned before, when they come out on top, it's like, you know what? See you later. You can have the map control. You can take it back. We're going to go back to our site holds. Now, Demasik normally left as more of a lurker, but in this scenario, he needs to try and put the pressure on. They don't want to be risking too much with Xiao currently holding the spike, and I like this from Safe. He hasn't just sat still. He hasn't just waited for the push. He's actually taken further control and can still cover off the site. He's just got to be careful because there is going to be a trip just around the corner.
Safe. Oh, no!
That's genius!
That
Use
was
the cam!
That was unbelievable. The sound cue just pulls him into checking it. Oh my god.
30 seconds left.
He is kicking himself right now. They get the A site, they get the plant as well, and here's the res. They actually wanted to go for that res way earlier. They put a wall down, it got spammed, and they decided, okay, it's not worth committing to it, right? Now they're able to invest in, now they're able to go for that push and the retake. But it's a man advantage. It's not that much, really. The recon coming down, timing's going to be very, very early, and it doesn't even spot anybody. If anything, that's just good information for them. Yassine, oh, he sees a player now. He's found his victim. He's chasing him down, and good night. No chance for Demasik. Xiao's all alone. He has a recon back up online, but, I mean, even using it is going to be tough. They're on that spike, and he's got to swing fast. There's the first kill, looking for more. Comes close, but he can't get it in the end. The defuse for Bonker as he builds up towards his ultimate, which he should be able to get online, potentially coming into the final round of the half.
Yeah, good
Last
response
round
from
in
Guild.
the
I
half.
like the initial aggression. I think Safe was definitely a little bit unlucky to get completely baited out by that cam. But then again, it is Yassine taking the pick and Shao not really having much of an opportunity. They did invest an awful lot in terms of ultimates into this round, though. You have to bear that in mind that they've had to use both the res and the showstopper just to bring this one back. Worth it 100%, but now let's see if that can turn into some sort of conversion to bring things back a little bit, because in reality, I'm not overly worried for FPX going into the defense, so I do think they're going to want to get the last round.
Also, Tom, by the way, that round, which, again, huge impact on them killing Bonker and winning the round when it was, what, 5-3 to put them on 6, that was 0.4 of a second between them
not our fault.
killing him. That's 0.4 of a second. Just about managing to get it done in time. This is huge, though. Guild, they're answering back. They're angry about losing a round by seconds as they move in towards the A site. They're torn asunder. FPX dropped the spike as well. This is huge. Guild, 2-man advantage. They've got control. Their players are coming up short through middle and short to reinforce to get that spike. FPX are going to find it, I would say, impossible to get back in here. They've got to just get all the kills. Heads up, ultimate pop to at least cut off one angle, but now they're walled off. Now they know there's a player to fight on short. They're going to have to go together, and the second they posture and take a fight, those guys are going to come running through that Astra wall.
Player standing.
Oh, I don't even know if they need to. Already finding the pick onto one, and Shadow, try as he might, he won't be able to turn the tide. Good resurgence from Gildan. I actually think the scoreline of this might be a little bit harsh to them. Like, they've had a few rounds now where I think they easily could have evened up the scoreline or even won the half. So going into the attacking side, I definitely think we're still looking at a very competitive game. And, well, we'll see if we can now start to watch that crazy entry stat that we had earlier. I think, what was it, 22% when we were looking at Yassine, someone who has definitely lit up the server so far in this match. Currently 13 and 13, but we know that most of those are going to be those aggressive peaks that he's going for. Top of the server, no doubt. Going into the pistol, at least. Well, it does look like FPX are about to get a little bit brawly. Other than Shadow, we've not seen much investment into utility whatsoever. It's the classic Ghost purchase. I'm just going to try and take those fights through into mid.
Now, Guild taking a page out of FPX's book on the early mid-aggression. You can see that they're shift walking up there with 3 as Draken just makes a lot of noise on A. He wants everybody to stay in position as they blitz out. Shadow right-clicking for 1, and a second as well. He's still alive at a head peak angle, and the damage going to be done. Leo and Safe, both sub 25 HP. This is so easy now for Shao, but he's 40. That's the downside. He has teammates coming in through spawn, and he's taken down right away. Okay, Angel pushes out. He wants to get a little bit more room, and look at that. 1 bullet to the body, and Leo is gone. Draken on the site loses all of his HP as well. A sliver of health remaining. He needs a headshot, but it doesn't land, and so Safe has to do it all. 10 health on the board, 2 opponents, and look at them. Look at those positions. They take the fight together. They're stood on vertical angles. There's no way he can isolate a one-on-one duel. That's 8-5 for FPX.
Yeah, I think a pistol that was fairly necessary for both sides as well. Getting off to a strong start here. Shadow again, just... I think I say this almost every single time I cast FPX. And for people who do watch regularly, this is probably going to sound like a broken record. I still consider him one of the most underrated players in all of Valorant. Like, he's ridiculously skilled, but always taking that more supportive role. And currently, he's top of the board. He is leading the charge for his side while playing an agent, which is basically made for setting up teammates.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. I think that support agents in general just don't get a bad rap, but they don't get the rap they deserve. That's for sure. Maybe we'll write one together someday, Tom. The wall coming in, just slowing them down from any sort of an A push. And Guild, they wanted to split up, have one player through mid. Not going to happen. He's shut down, and now that Spike just left, wondering what the hell they can do. At least they got an ult orb for free. That's the one upside. And in a round like this, you know, you've got yourself... It was full classics alongside a Marshall. Now a Spectre comes out as well. It's something to work with. It might not be the best, but at least they can try to do some damage. And that's really the goal of this round. Is just do damage. Take money out of the hands of FPX. You don't want them to get off to the same start they did in the previous. And oh, this is a little bit cleaner than you would hope for. Shadow's low, but he'll just avoid any further engagements. And the classic on range doesn't pose much of a threat. Shadow is peeking right now, so that's a bit dangerous. He hides eventually.
Well, I guess in his eyes, his teammate could just pick up the gun if it was really needed. Angel only really using a pistol, and in fact, will find an extra Spectre. This might be more of a pure bonus round. I mentioned it in the previous half that they were going in with a fair amount of rifles when it came to their attack side. But this time, much more Spectres, much more closer angles taken, and even a few battles into mid. I wonder if Xiao's going to make Mitch very happy and go for a wall spam early on the B site.
You know, I actually like what we've seen from a lot of players now, which is that the Sova generally won't be the one that's actually playing with the wall-bangable weapon, like your Ares or your Odin. Instead, it would be whoever else is there with him, and then he recons so you can react instantly. And oh no, they didn't think that Yassine was that quick. One of the fatal mistakes. I don't think you can even hear that blast pack in the early round. It's used so quickly, and that nade is perfect. It's actually just on the other side of the wall. Dimasic sneaks over and makes it away. But even still, despite no damage from that, they've got the site, they've got the plant, and the man advantage, and the better weapons. So, I mean, you could say it's a pretty good round to be Guild.
At a minimum for FPX, they want to try and drop some of these guns. They don't want to allow everything to continue going forward for Guild. Again, the power of Yassine, a fast opener, that gives them the sight, and now it's just very awkward to get back in because Guild haven't spent nearly any of their utility other than to hold on in this retake. So you can still even see boombots going out, and there's only about 20 seconds left on the clock. They know exactly where Dimasic is going to be, and just using it to clear their path back out of the site. Not too costly, but Xiao, well, he's making that Ares work. He is dropping an extra player. For them, probably want to die here, including Xiao, so he's just going to run back into the spike to make sure their economy is bolstered for the next round. Of course, you get a lot less loss bonus if you do save onto your weapon, so definitely worth dying in this scenario. They're not just insane. But I like this from Guild. Fast take, just pushing in with conviction is something they mentioned in the interview earlier, that a lot of the plays that they're seeing, a lot of the success that they have is not only Yassine having confidence, but also the rest of the team having confidence in their own ability.
Exactly. And at the moment, if you're FPX, upgrading to an Odin, so I'm pretty sure we are going to see those wallbang spams attempted. Say what you will about the Ares, but you don't buy the Odin for many other reasons than to go in for those wallbangs. I think 9-6, win this round, take the map, go on to Icebox. I mean, things start to crumble. That's a very nice peek and almost a spray transfer. It's covered up by Draken to give them the advantage and then further extended by the res. This is good. I mean, Guild have got everything set up for them and someone needs to make a play. Angel wanted to be the one, but, well, he can't really do it. When the wall goes up, had to break it, destroys a boombot. Good utility taken out of the hands of Guild at least, but when they've got a two-man advantage and the site to be planted on, it's little consolation. Someone needs to make a move now.
They're actually hiding behind the wall. Leo, he's sort of let Draken go out of that round, but it's definitely a worthwhile trade, especially with already a two-man advantage in play. They're also going to use the neural theft to actually find out where the remaining couple of players are, and with Xiao desperate to wallbang a couple of players through the wall, chance of that seem fairly slim. Time ticking away, but it seems like they're still going for this, Mitch.
It definitely does. They're mounting this offensive, and Shadow in a 1v3, he still goes, he dies, and that's the round over. I mean, I respect the attempt. Time was quite low, but it's GG, 9-7. Guild take the round as they look for a little bit more. They should be finding it with ease. I mean, just look at FPX. They've got nothing. They're pulling out a Judge, couple of pistols. And this is the way back into the series. Again, they lost, I think, at least 2 rounds off the back of 0.45 of a second. And now they get to potentially bring it to within 1 round of a loss. So that's decent.
Yeah, the purchase in this one from FPX is not going to be ideal. We know that they can definitely make it work with the pistols, and in terms of ult points, Shadow, I'm still not sold on the armor. I'm still not sold on the divide. I think it has its moments, but I think especially if your opponent has a Phoenix, there could be some massive risks behind it. Bonker is already going to spot the man on sight, and actually they seem to be fairly aware of Dimasic position, but he's not going to take any damage through the smoke, so we'll just continue on for now. However, with the vast rotations and players already being spotted, I think Guild are just going to opt to slow things down a little bit and wait for some potential aggression on the other side.
You don't want to take fights on spams and stuff like that if you're Dima. You're playing with a Sheriff. You don't really have spam ability. You want to take just heads-up aim duels, especially as they push out, because look at Xiao crouched with a Judge. It's one of the nastiest angles you can play, one of the nastiest positions, but they're not able to do anything. Instantly a cage goes up to stop anybody else re-peeking. Angel up close is in danger, and he manages to get 2 before eventually going down. That's a good recovery on what was a pretty terrible start, and the heal was spotted being activated. They know that Zipan is coming from spawn. They're ready to take the duel. He wants a headshot. He wants to connect one right away, but no, it's not to be. Still, 2 kills, it's not the end of the world. It's a decent little bit of damage considering what they had.
Yeah, making things a little bit more costly is all they can really hope for, especially with Guild looking to try and build up a similar bank. I always like this sort of utilization of the gravity well. It does almost mean that Xiao is somewhat of a sacrificial lamb, and I do also think versus other teams it would actually work a lot better. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think so far the biggest weakness I've seen to Astra is Yassine. And that sounds absurd, but he just ignores the utility. It's like, oh, there's a gravity well there, or what could be a gravity well, or a smoke, or whatever they turn it into, and he just goes, I'm gonna go stand in it.
Yeah, he does not respect the utility at all, and it's one of the best ways to play against Astra, especially if you're a confident player like Yassine, or if you're playing a duelist and you're willing to get aggressive. Speaking of that, Angel wants to go forward, and that's the ultimate popped and taken down. Yassine doesn't get anything for his showstopper other than a bullet to the head. That's a devastating start. Angel even getting out of there with the dismiss. FPX, man advantage, and usually these early fights have gone towards Guild. This represents a bit of a turning point in the early round, but let's see if the end tends the same way. They're pushing up on A as well, spotting out nobody's there. They can start to maybe figure out that this is a B hit with the players spotted on mid. They are still lurking out. Guild are keeping their options open. They're playing a strong default, which is something that we often compliment FPX for.
Yeah, the problem for now, though, is the fact that their default hasn't really found anything. In fact, they're slowly getting picked apart. A re-peek into mid already drops a player, and they're starting to fall into the same trap that happened for FPX earlier. The time is ticking. They've got 20 seconds to make their decision, and they're going to have to try and get past Zipan. And the rest of the players are not sitting still. He's waiting in the corner. He's not been spotted. He's definitely whiffed, but he gets away with it again. It's the second time we've seen that for FPX, giving us a mini heart attack. But at the same time, they don't lose a single player in that round, and they're up to double digits.
You know what? He's the people's champion, because that happens to all of us quite a lot. I actually think the hardest shots to hit are those where you're behind someone. Their movement is just so hard to predict at that point. The 2K that he got out of it. And yeah, like you said, Shadow did it earlier, right? He was like baiting them out like, oh no, I don't know how to spray. Just kidding.
Bang!
We love to see it. It makes them more human. The 10-8 for Guild. They've got the weapons back up. This is a serious round now. They want to be walking away with this one. Otherwise, FPX likely hit 12-8, and they're going to have to fight for 4 in a row. This map was chosen by Guild. This is one that they wanted to pick up, to play, and to defeat FPX on, but that's not a good start. Angel again being the thorn in the side. Last time it was a push on A. This time it's in Pizza. He's just repositioning himself on the Reyna again and again to catch Guild off. With the man advantage sitting in their favor, FPX, they can usually play quite comfortably, although I saw Angel start to rotate to A for a second. Looks like he's abandoned that and gone back and fragged out on mid.
Yeah, you talk about a rotational op player a lot, especially in other FPS games as well. At the moment, it's just a rotational Angel, just coming in and striking no matter where you expect it, and it allows them to double up elsewhere. A quick trade from Deem is sick, a push through. What happened there, Angel? This has been a weird game, but again, it's in a spot where it doesn't matter too much. So Spike only just being picked up at the top of mid with 30 seconds, a 1 versus 3 for Bonker as well.
30 seconds left.
A hell of a lot on his plate.
I think him being tagged by the camera really confused Angel. It's like, so the outline, it messes with your head sometimes. There's another tag. They know exactly where Bonker is. And the 1v3 becomes a lot less doable. Moving into the site, going for the flank. Still being
10
tagged the
seconds
whole
left.
time. As he swings up, he uses it as a bait, but it doesn't work out. Shadow still connecting the shot. That is 11-8. That is economy sitting pretty for FPX, and Guild potentially taking an eco on this round, or they're going to be lacking a lot. The good thing here is that Angel actually found a lot of these kills. Oh, we have to do that replay to him, do we? He found a lot of the kills in the early round, so they still have a fair bit of utility, meaning that realistically they can afford to invest into light armor or light shields as well as weapons and still have a fair bit of utility left over, as they didn't use it in the previous.
The thing that's funny about most of these rounds is I feel like no matter where Guild are going, they're getting tagged up by Dema6 Cam. Like, it just seems to be at the right place almost every single round. Like, whether it's tagging people in mid, he then had it on A. We've seen peeks into B as well. Like, that is the thing about FPX defense that's so hard to play against. And it's what all the best teams are currently doing, is that you have your Sentinel consistently switching up their cam spots, switching up all their utility spots. So no matter where you are going, you could be walking into a trap. And that makes being sort of clever or sneaky very, very difficult. And it's safe to say Dema6 is one of the best in the game at it.
This is it for Guild. If they lose this round, again, their economy is going to be in tatters. They've full invested and still have weaknesses. A Spectre and a Bulldog to play with. This is a very, very important round. It could define this map. A nice paranoia will buy them up a little bit of space to push forward. Yassine does exactly that. He's already in the window. They might not even expect it, and indeed they don't. Dema6 shot in the back. Zipan, good for the trade and the res. Man advantage effectively goes to FPX. And with the smoke up above, Draken is hoping he can buy his team time to plant. Indeed, he does. The retake has to come in. Still a Cosmic Divide available to be used, but they don't seem to be putting it down anytime soon. Instead, just dueling absolutely everywhere. Another kill swings their way. Man advantage recovered. Shadow keeps on going in through the cage and closing the round. 12-8. FPX on map point. This is Guild's map pick. They wanted to surprise FPX, where previously FPX had won it 13-4 against them. Next we go to Icebox, which they won 13-2 last time they faced. This is not looking good for Guild in the series, Tom.
No, it's definitely not looking good for their 3-0, which Yassine predicted in the interview. As said, love the confidence, but we have seen the resilience of this FPX team time and time again, be it down to the very last second within a round, and just also the depth. Like, we are watching Shadow frag out in this match. I don't think there's a player at the moment who's having a poor performance. Shadow is 21-9. Again, we highlight players like Angel, like Zipan so regularly. Speaking of Angel, well, I think I still know who's going to be taking the first blood stat, because you've seen, it's just so clean every time he does it.
And again, extends it even further, swinging for more. Shadow, the big player, the Astra, already getting him. So what? They've not taken him down the pull. It saves Shadow's life. He goes out to long to try and take a kill, but they're on top of the wall. They're taking him down from behind and now looking to take that site. Xiao, I mentioned that usually you'll only pick this weapon up for wall bangs. Well, now he's got to do it in heads-up duels. 3 of them have to go his way. A defuse needed as he moves out to sight. He sees the drone. He now knows this player is underneath based on the drone's path. There's one taken down. He should know where the Sova is, but Leo's the one that can win this round. He's coming from behind. There's almost no way that this is expected. A Vandal upgraded onto. Down goes the Recon. That has to be destroyed now, giving away his position potentially. In fact, Leo just hides. And now he's going to move on forward. Xiao doesn't have that info. As he moves in, he checks it. Leo's quicker to the shot. 12-9. As we move on, one more round at least, as Guild try to bring this to overtime.
Yeah, I do wonder if it may be a tiny bit shallow, but hey, a 1v3 situation, I don't think you can expect everything to be pinpoint accurate. This is, again, I feel like it almost sounds like a broken record how often we highlight Yassine, but the fact that this man can just walk in and double entry around with barely any supportive utility and just off raw individual skill, you can't find anything more valuable for Guild in that round. So fantastically well played. Shadow gave it a damn good go though, and it's always good to see how those gravity wells can be utilized, and it seems they're about to become, if the patch leaks are correct, even more powerful, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned, or I'll talk a lot about those black holes and how they don't necessarily do a lot for you. And most players will just disrespect it and take the duel. Oh, here we go. Yassini hasn't gotten much so far, but there's a second kill in the game with his ultimate. Dimisic and Shadow, though, quick to pull it back and put the man advantage in their favor. Angel catches Draken completely unaware as he walks out of the smoke. Okay, they're able to get the res, but they have so much more to do. The spams coming in even tickle up Yassine, and so his heal has to be used up here and now. He could have used it on himself now because he's on 0, taken out. 4 versus 2. Guild trying to stay alive in this round. They've got to make something happen, and for that, Bonker either goes to side or crosses back. He's got the spike. They're ready for this duel every step of the way. Those walls soon to fade, and maybe the chances for Guild will as well, as Bonker's left all by himself. 33 seconds remaining. Can't even step forward at the moment, being harassed by Astra Utility. I can feel a stun coming on in a second as well, just as he peeks. Shadow. Oh, I love it. I love the lineup with Dimisic.
Of course, but then again, we don't know what they've been working on and what they have up their sleeve. So it's really, really hard to write this off for this team. Well, again, just going to ignore that hover. But looking at this, Safe versus Zipan on the Reyna, Mitch.
Yeah, big mix-up on last time. The fact that Safe is coming in with the Reyna, I mean, they promised us some what was it, freaky picks? Well, that is definitely one for them, swapping it up, but they're still playing with an Omen. I mean, I don't know. That's not something that you'll see.
FPX, they have so many flashes that they can almost play through their own utility if they want to. It is a very scary composition, and when someone says they're going to make freaky picks, I was expecting them to change more than just one agent in their comp. Now, sure, your normal Sentinel picking up a Reyna is a pretty big change, but at the same time, the rest of their comp is basically the same.
Exactly, yeah, the way they play this game will be more or less identical. Angel starting this one out in an identical way to the previous map. He's just rushing forward, taking kills, taking duels. And so that is a 5 versus 4. If you're Guild, it's not the biggest deal to lose a player in the pistol, but what they have lost is their smoker. So now it's going to be very tough to actually get in towards the site, especially if they do want to move to B. This is such an open site. You really want smokes, and Zipan, well, he has just dominated that early fight, looking for more as well. The confidence on this guy, and it's not stopping. They keep on coming. He almost took Yassine with him on a 90-degree flick, a 1v4 for Yassine. He's been unbelievable in this tournament, Tom, but somehow I just don't quite believe in him that much.
Okay, maybe me saying earlier that Zipan looked more confident on a Sage than a Duelist. I would like to retract my previous statement, as that was ridiculous. He just destroyed them. They didn't look like they even stood a chance. In fact, they looked like there was 3 of him and maybe only 1 of the opposition. Yassine, no chance. Absolutely none. That is one hell of a pistol coming out of FPX, and well, we'll see if Guild can find a turnaround. Probably not in this round, though.
I mean, that was an interesting start, shall we put it that way, because as you see Zipan go down and start taking those duels, he finds his first kill. I found it strange that Bonker was like, I need the ult orb. I will take the ult orb. Like, Zipan has 150 health, he still has a dismiss, and that's why he plays so aggressively, because he knows it doesn't quite matter if he was to run into all 3 of them there. As long as he gets a kill, he can dismiss and get back to the site, or at least yellow, nice and easy.
Well, it seems slight pause, but we will be getting back into the game very shortly. Draken actually going to invest here into a Marshal, so they still want to try and make this one costly. What I will say into the build-up of this game, one of the main issues I've seen, at least on the defensive side from Guild, is that I just feel like it doesn't fit for Yassine just yet. Like the previous matches we witnessed from him, he would go very aggressive towards the A site and not really find much for it. It would either be a trade or he would just be going down. Whereas you look at him on a map like Ascent, he was one of the clinical factors for this roster. So we'll see if that's going to be able to change. Maybe that's the reason Safe's actually been put into the role of a Reyna, so that he can be that second aggressor, have a bit more rather than just sort of lurking on the other side of the map. And if he is lurking, still have the chance to heal himself up.
There.
I do look at this early fight, at least for Guild. They haven't lost Draken. They've got a kill, and now they've got 1 player defending the site. It's only Shadow with a Spectre in his hands. Possibility for this duel to go his way is definitely there. I thought he was about to sideswipe one and just pull the advantage right on back, especially with Bonker low. They have to be careful. The fact that they were spotted crossing over to yellow doesn't really serve them all too well if what they're trying to do is to light push B, and the wolf coming out is even worse. It getting destroyed, it pretty much confirms there's someone yellow, otherwise you wouldn't have shot that, and also confirms there's players outside of B. So they're going to stick with their 2 players here, and with Killjoy very close by. And so really Guild are just running down the clock in the hopes that FPX rotate, but it's never going to happen.
All right, looks like they're going to go for the classic plant we've seen previously, using the Ice Wall. There's already a bit of counter utility from Demasic, the Hawk, used to try and garner some space, but instead Safe is already going to pick off another. Now this is starting to get shaky. The only weaponry left, Mitch, is actually going to be Spectres, which not really renowned for their range, and with a Marshal on the other side, there is still hope for the side of Guild.
There absolutely is. All those players stacked up on yellow. I think this is a duel that will definitely favor them. Xiao having to go down to the pistol as well. This helps even more so. Where's that Boombot going? It's following them across the map. Safe all by himself, goes out, spots both. Has the info to play off of and the kill. No heals possible. He's been spotted as well, and he thinks he's defusing, but oh, he was wrong. Xiao, a 4K and the round under his belt, just about getting that done.
Yeah, ended up being pretty close though. Like, one player surviving in what is ultimately a few pistols and a Marshal. I do not think Guild are going to be frowning upon that round. I think the only thing they'll be upset about is the fact that they didn't actually manage to convert the 5 versus 3. It ends up with FPX doing quite well at getting back into this retake, mainly off of the back of Xiao, but hey, as said, this man, when he's put in the positions to perform, unless, of course, he's shooting at a Boombot, is going to be almost always clinical. Now, going into this next buy round, I'll actually be quite intrigued to see what FPX are actually going to do with their purchase. Are they going to invest straight back in with the rifles and play it like a normal round? Well, I didn't get to ask the other side of the question because, yes, that is what they've done.
Yep, of course. Yeah, they're playing confident, wanting to throw all their cash at this round. Bonker gets a little bit of a tickle up there, and that takes him out of his drone, so valuable utility denial right away. Guild want to move forward. They want to push onto this site, and they've already managed to pick up one. Safe up on top, looking to catch them as they push through spawn, but it's Xiao who's up close with the Spectre. He's undetected as of now. His teammates coming in to help, and he'll swing with them, presumably not knowing there's a player close left, though. Dimasic's in trouble, and indeed he is. Taken down on range. Xiao manages to trade his teammates here right behind him, but maybe not for long. Look at Safe. I mean, Safe in this position, he's just up top, taking as many fights as he can, and it's the confidence of knowing, like, one headshot, and I'm right back in it, right? I'm able to dismiss, I can heal up if no one else is pushing, like, he's so comfortable. And Leo from afar closes the round to put one on the board. Guild get there first. And I think, you know, if you're FPX, obviously, you don't want to be losing that round, considering all the reinvestment you had into utility, into a couple of weapons, but they won't be crying all too much. They still have a chance in this.
Last player standing.
Well, that's the thing. I'm sorry to do this, but I kind of disagree. I think their money's wrecked right now. They lost, what, 4 players, right? In the round before? So, like, financially, it's 1 rifle and sheriffs. Like, this sucks for FPX. So, sure, Xiao has an opportunity to try and do some damage here, but the last round's normally a bonus. That's what we call it. They come in with the SMGs, they play with whatever they had, but they didn't have anything. So FPX had to risk it all, and it still looked like a bonus round, because Guild won that almost too easily, just walking into the A site. And I have to say, one of the things I'm enjoying about this attack so far is normally we talk about the lurk of Safe. Maybe a double lurk sometimes with Draken being alongside him. But in this case, Safe almost looks like he's playing the entry fragger alongside Yassine, which as a duo is terrifying.
Yeah, I thought they would have one more rifle than they did, but yeah, of course, they are only the 1 Spectre. That hurts. Xiao has to do a lot of damage here. He's already got the first, but now they know where he is. They're waiting for him up top. Recon into the back. It's going to reveal them because they're blinded. That's such a good combination. They know there's 3 here, and the Hunter's Fury pops. The ultimate economy coming into play. Yassine goes up high, so close to getting it done, but the Sheriffs then come through. The ultimates and the weapons combining. It's the Sheriffs that do the heavy lifting to close this out, and FPX, they go 3-1. I mean, that's the advantage of having, especially Xiao, having found so many kills that, yeah, they don't have the money to fully invest, but they can still manage to pull something out with that Hunter's Fury, but it never works even nearly as well as it does if they don't combine that recon dart and the flash to guarantee that they spot players. That was huge.
Yeah, I'm surprised they did as well as they did. I think also Zipan just doming anyone that walked into his crosshair. 3 kills off the back of a Sheriff, and hey, maybe that is considered a 4 by them, because they made that look very, very easy considering what was invested. Both teams seemingly able to win dominantly in any possible round. Now, Angel, you're going to see him over towards this B site quite regularly, and by the looks of it, you're about to see Guild there regularly as well. They've been very aggressive in their takes in this direction. Now, their purchase in this round is not perfect, but I think Yassine got a bit of a timing peek there onto Shadow. He did not seem prepared, and now Leo on top of the wall has already opened things up. This pace coming out from Guild with almost identical strategies to the last round, it definitely takes some confidence to do that after getting such a beating. And for now, it's looking pretty damn good.
It absolutely is, yeah, especially in the manner that they took the beating. It was Sheriffs, you know? If it was Vandals, you're like, okay, maybe there's a couple things we can do different, but I guess what they did different here was just pace it up, right? Move much faster, push into that site, and overwhelm them, taking every duel they could. Good timing there for Dimisic. The second safe looks to the right. He's taken down. Again, those recon darts, not spotting anything over on the attacking side, but they don't need to see the players. They knew that they weren't going through for the defuse at that point. They fall back. Okay, they lose Bunker on their way, but ultimately the round goes to Guild. And at this point, they've achieved as many rounds as they did last time they played FPX here. So things are looking up.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps them starting on the attack. I think a lot of teams have proven that the attack of this map is a side where I think most teams can get quite a lot of rounds. I think G2 proved that with how effective their attack can be, and then the defense definitely being a little bit more questionable. And I think that's the same for Guild. Like, the questions I've had of this roster, at least on Icebox, have always been around the defense. And at the moment, the only change they've made since last time is removing their Sentinel and adding in a Reyna. So I don't know how that's going to affect them on the defensive side.
That is true, yeah. I don't think removing your Sentinel is generally a very helpful thing for the defense, but it depends, you know. If he's going to be like Element from OG and making those super aggressive plays on A, then maybe it's going to work. And speaking of which, Zipan is pretty much doing the same. Arena on the defensive side pushed up A, now solo. It's a lot of pressure when you do this, because if you don't manage to deliver, you lose that site. More so when you're up against a Viper, because your teammates are usually in middle as they are, and they would be completely locked out. This time it's a little bit more open versus the Omen, but not ideal to lose it. A very slow pace coming through from Guild, and they've given up all their map control towards middle and B. I guess maybe they have an idea that FPX don't like to play so aggressive in buy rounds. But, hey, they don't know about Zipan, because he's pushed up close, taken down Yassine, and backed off. Man advantage secured, and we know for FPX, they're not the kind of team to overextend at this point.
Oh, Zipan goes for the wide swing, though. Has Shadow alongside him to try and take the peak, but neither of them are too successful.
30 seconds left.
A couple of very low players on the side of Guild, and are they really going to go for a rotation here? Oh, there is not a lot of time left on this clock. There's only 20 seconds for them to push all the way into the B site. I'm also looking at that nano swarm that's been placed by Dimisic, that if they try and go for a default plant spot, well, the players are likely going to take a hell of a lot of damage. Angel, he's already spotted one player, but the remainder already pushing in. They've also got the snake bite. That could be everything they need. They're going for the plant, but they've had to stop it. I think they've run out of time on this one, Mitch, and that's the round in itself. FPX, with a couple of decently placed pieces of utility, are going to take a round away from Guild.
absolutely huge. That nano swarm, Tom, you highlighted it perfectly. We knew it was going to be a thorn in the side. Angel winning the duel in middle, though. If he dies to safe, they get the plant. They have the advantage. They even have great positions in the post plant. But as soon as safe dies, Angel's there with the snake bite. Now they can't plant, and they have to. They tried, but they took the damage, man, so they had to leave. They had to go and plant underneath. And at that point, Dragon just didn't have time to get the spike on the floor. That is so big. So big by FPX. And now 4-2. Like I said before, when FPX lost a round, they wouldn't be devastated even with the economy fading away. For Guild, that's heartbreaking. I mean, flashbacks to the previous game where they lost by 0.45 of a second. This one's almost worse.
Do they check? They've already cleared a couple of players. Oh, he's gonna peek out the perfect time, and Angel has just ripped them a new one. 3 headshots. He was only on 44 HP. Smart enough as well to avoid the dart that would have given him away. Oh, that is a huge play coming out from Angel, leaving Leo and Yassine to try and pick up the pieces. Now, they do at least have themselves the spike, and Yassine is fairly close to the showstopper as well. But there's still a lot to fight back in this round.
Unbelievable play by Angel. Yeah, I think at this point, fighting back into this round is tough, but doable. At 2 versus 3, you're moving towards the B site, but there are 2 players here. A Nano Swarm in a position where it's fair to say you don't normally see Nano Swarms. Angel's going to peek out and spot these guys. Nano Swarm soon to be activated and harass, although actually not in time though. They're going to use that for the post plant, I guess. That's really good. Stops them peeking back yellow, but they might not even get a post plant because Dimasic rushes around the wall. Oh, and the old pop by Yassine. It's insult to injury, Tom. God, they've got to be kicking themselves. The previous round they lost due to well-positioned utility. They come in here, hey, it's alright guys, at least we can still buy. Let's get him this time. And Angel sideswipes them to death with a quick 3k, and then they end up using a showstopper as well. I don't think this could have went worse.
It's just that slight reposition, like just at the last second, because he knew the recon arrow would have given away his spot, so he had to just quickly sneak out of the corner, and that's a round that Guild are going to be kicking themselves. The thing is, though, they knew he was there somewhere. It was just whereabouts that he was actually hiding. Now, unfortunately for Guild, after what had been a fairly close couple of rounds, a back and forth that looked like they could have come out on top, losing a couple in a row, they've been left with pistols once again. And also a Marshall. We saw them do quite a lot with small amount in the last, but when you look at the amount of ultimates that are currently available, the Seekers as well, something we've not really spoken about so far. We haven't seen a whole lot from Shadow, but this ult is one that's just so filthy in retakes. And although they've been pretty good at getting the spike down on B, I do not think they'll be able to hold on to the round if they do.
Again, 2.05 patch, so you can walk through that orb and not take your instant 50 HP damage, but you will still decay quite a bit as you see Bonker ends up quite low, losing all of his armor. They've spotted Angel, they know where he is, the nade to keep him back. Okay, no snake bite's going to be annoying them this time. The wall positioned, and you'll notice that it stops them spamming green. That's a very important detail for those of you in matchmaking, right? When you put it horizontally, so it's just going to completely block them off from running through, they can spam you through green and stop you planting anyways. This push-up by Angel, he can drop this wall. That's exactly what he's going to do. The timing was perfect. Draken had just smoked as that wall fell down, pulling out his weapon and pulling out of the round because Angel is just dominating, leaving Yassine by himself. He's satcheling over. Oh, he had an opportunity there, but the peek back in by Angel secured it with Sipban's kills 6-2. FPX, I mean, a couple of these rounds have come close, but on the scoreboard, it's not reflecting that.
Yeah, it's similarly to what we saw the match yesterday versus Opportunists. Like we sort of saw some closer rounds, some possible positions, but it ended up sort of slipping away towards the end of it. So I'm a little bit worried for Guild now, because although, as we've mentioned, like some of these rounds have been close, this round you can forgive them. They only had pistols, and I think Yassine needed his team to buy a little bit more time if his wraparound was going to be valuable. But they need to break back here, especially with them being on the attack. As said, the half I questioned them on was the defense, and while on the attack, FPX have already got half the rounds. Deem is sick as well. He's starting to gain in confidence. It's a 3-man aggressive push. It's like we failed on B a few rounds. Maybe this time we go A. and, well, it's gone even worse.
It's a buy round, man. And the ult from Angel, he actually managed to get on top as well, so you can't even sneak above the ult. You're screwed. You can't push B. It's almost a certainty. And then for Yassine to be caught with his knife out, jumping up on top, the player tries to trade him. No, not a chance. Easily taken out. Bonker. He's doing some heavy lifting here. Already got a kill, looking for more, but realistically, 30 HP. If he gets one, he's lucky. And they're ready for it. Look at this. Pre-fire around the corner. Trade bullets, but with Bonker being so low, of course he loses that, so Draken's all alone. He has the teleport. Like, he could realistically ult on back B and avoid that ultimate altogether. But in a 1v4, you might not even want to commit it. You'd have to get the spike first, and he can't even get in A main. Shot in the back by Angel's aggression. 7-2, Tom. This is not looking good for Guild. I mean, I cannot believe that was a buy round. You know, you look at the start of it, 3 kills in an instant. That, especially considering the fact that they knew he was ulted up on B, you're probably not expecting the A aggression, so I understand it, but that's why it works so well.
Well, that is the difference between, I think, a good team and a great team. The fact that FPX realized that, okay, financially, they're now going to have a proper buy. This is where they're going to likely try to set up some sort of strategy. Let's just completely discombobulate them by going very aggressively into their face and giving them a battle. Even if they lost, they could have bought into the next round and it wouldn't have mattered. And now we're going to see a pace change coming out from Guild. Oh, Zipan, that's such a perfect dismiss. He just says, see you later, Boombot. I don't even need to fight this. And he's going back in for more. The trades for Guild, though, are not bad. They've come out of this pretty well.
They have, but the Seekers are coming through. They're spotting players as we go. Dimisic looking to get them, but Draken, he fades away, goes for more on the side, and he's getting it done. That is Guild walking away with the round win at last. That was close. And also, the round before, Tom, I just realized when they ulted on B, it was Dimisic that rushed A first with the support of Zipan. And that actually makes so much sense because you don't need a Sentinel when you've got the B side secure like that. Mid and A are all you have to watch, both of which are choke points. So I love the fact that he's like, well, listen, I'm not that useful now. Let me try to entry, and at least Zipan, you can trade me and dismiss out at the very minimum. That's really smart.
The last round, at least, was a good resurgence from Guild. It looked a bit shaky at the beginning with Zipan managing to get the opener. Now, we've seen a change-up that I wasn't really expecting. Xiao actually going to be picking up the operator. It allows Angel to push deeper into B, a completely different defensive setup, but Yassine, he does not care. You can change all you like. This man knows entry fragging like the back of his hand, already finding an opener alongside his team. And this retake, with no ults, and, well, not a whole lot of utility to get back in general, I don't know how FPX are going to pull this one off.
Guild really showing up. They're showing their best face, the best foot forward. They want the 4th round on the board, and as you said, FPX are going to have a pretty tough time of pulling this one off. The Wolf goes out, and it's going to spot at least one. I've never seen a Wolf do some spins like that. It's a disco.
360.
Yeah, it's on. I guess it was the ice wall, right? Let him slide. Anyways, we'll see if there's any more moves up their sleeve. As Zipan's able to take one, they push to the side. Oh, the timing for Xiao. He de-scoped at the wrong time. Hello. Leo didn't know what day of the week it was. All down to Shadow, and as huge and as clutch as he was in the previous map, the 1v2 with low time not going his way. 7-4. Guild closing in the gap as the last round comes on the board.
Yeah, they've had a couple of successful rounds towards this A site now, even with completely different defensive setups. They managed to find both entry kills walking into the site, Angel being caught, and then the player up on the rafters also falling. Now, I will say, Shadow, bit of a rough start to this match, but I think we both know that going into the attack is where he's going to be most vital, especially with all of the screens that are going to be set up by Angel. The ability to flash through them, I think, will be a huge part of their attacking side. So I wouldn't be worried too much if you're an FPX fan. And while for Guild, they're just going to go for the same. Once again, that's the second time he's dismissed out of certain death. Even still, though, we see a res, but the Nano Swarm is perfect. Zipan's going to double down on his opener, and again, they're going to have to fight from behind.
Dude, I'm loving it. I'm loving Zipan. Gets the kill, dismisses. The round is theirs. It looks like Draken caught reloading. Bonker, well, he's got a lot to do in this, and it's just, no, it's never happening. 8-4. Oh, Zipan, I love you, man. And for Yassine, it's gotta be devastating. A boombot finds its target, but he dismisses. An ultimate right on his face, and he dismisses the. Oh, look, let's see it again. Oh, the timing, man!
Perfect.
You could tell he's spraying and just smashing his bind, just like pressing it the whole time. Like, please let him die, please let him die. Okay, I got it. Oh man.
Are we allowed to just request agent picks from now on? Because I've not seen too much from Zipan on this agent, on Reyna, but this has been one of the most enjoyable performances I've seen from a player ever. And it's not even like... He's got 19 kills. Okay, 19 kills are cool. I'm excited about the dismisses he's using. Like, the timing over the last couple of rounds has been utterly ridiculous. And now we're getting into the attack. If anything, this is where things should be even better for him.
And that round that we highlighted Dimisic pushing up A so that because he wasn't really useful, right? The ultimate of Viper, the Viper's pit was on B. So he pushes up, and who is it he brings with him? Of course it's Zipan, because he's so confident. Zipan's having a lights out game that he's like, okay, I'll go. Even if I die, you will trade me. You will get the kill. And if we manage to trade into a 4v4 and we know they can't go B, that's fine, right? That's nice. But they end up getting 3 kills and winning the round instantly instead.
Interesting to see. I think that was a tactical timeout taken for FPX going into the pistol. So maybe having a few tricks up their sleeve, a few notepads open to spot out a pistol strat. Come on, Leo. You're going to commit the wall to deep B. Now, there are definitely risks to that, although without such a raise on the other side or even another Sage, getting over it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. But it does, however, get him an early orb, which we know, especially when you're playing a Sage, can be pretty damn vital down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think if you're managing to get that ultimate online, as we were saying just in the previous game, right? The value you bring to your teammates is pretty unbelievable. But the contrast there, actually, when FPX rocking where the Sage is like the most important, what they have now, they have a bunch of extremely strong ultimates that they can prioritize and they can use. And that's what makes it so hard now on the defensive side to fight against them when they can use a lockdown, which on this map isn't as effective, but attack side, it has its uses, especially on A. Obviously, Angel can just completely lock off a part of the map. If they get a sight, pushing back in can be impossible. Seekers left. And Hunter's Fury, they can give you info and lead to kills if you trade them out or manage to hit the Hunter's Fury shots. Those are pretty huge. And then Zipan's, I mean, it's widely regarded as a useless ability mostly. And with Zipan's headshot percentage, almost definitely. This pistol round, they're pushing out. They've already lost one player and a second soon follows. It is Zipan taken down. But Angel, quick to get one, might be all he walks away with. And indeed, it's a fairly clean round from Guild. They end up with 2 players alive, but more about every kill that came in, split second, and there's a trade. Like, instantly.
Yeah, I think as well the FPX were expecting a lot more aggression from Guild in this pistol round. Like, the fact is, they played what was a very slow mid default up until about 35 seconds left on the clock. So they were just sat waiting, going, okay, they'll push us eventually. Like, they'll come to us soon, but they never did.
Yeah. And that's the thing that we were talking about, right? That Barbar was speaking to, that, you know, they were trying to figure out Yassine and not nerf him and not take away his confidence, to figure out how he can fit into the team a bit more. I love this, man. But the wall's actually... Oh, my God. The wall was going to be destroyed. Leo says they're breaking the left side of the wall, so Draken aims, fires, and takes a kill through the wall. Through the Viper wall, I should say, not the Sage wall. That was huge.
Well, yeah, it also means the Viper's out of the round, so in terms of smokes, there's not going to be a whole lot. Any way to cross onto this site, get an afterplant, of course, earning yourself an extra few hundred apiece. Does, however, look like Safe's about to come under a bit of pressure here. Doesn't have much support. They've dedicated 2 players to mid and to B. This leaves just this man standing. Now, in terms of individual prowess, he's definitely up there with the best of them, but if they peak at the right moment, it could be more of a problem. However, he will pick 2 apart. Potential maybe even for Zipan to actually retrieve a rifle, though getting up there might be a little bit more difficult. They've tagged the position of it at least, and Zipan doesn't even need it. He's just going to do it with the pistol instead, and now he has a Vandal.
That was a blast packing Yassine as well. A headshot midair. Gorgeous stuff by Zipan. Makes it to the backside. As you said, Vandal in hand. Xiao playing as the recon drone for him. 1. Zipan looking for more and getting it. The 4K clutch on the line. He spots him on range, and of course he wins it. 4 kills for Zipan, and a round that FPX didn't even intend to win. And you know how you can even tell that? The Viper wall they put down on B, that was not to get on the side and to get a plant. That was to stop them taking the orb and fight the guy that was attempting to. They wanted to isolate the duel and get as much damage done as they could in the early round. Instead, this man who we're praising all game long walks away with the round almost by himself.
I know there's been a lot of players recently talking about adding in agent bans into what will be competitive Valorant. Up until today, Reyna wouldn't have even been on my list for FPX. There's so many agents that you'd want to get rid of first. Not anymore. Ban it. Get rid of it. Just something, because they can't do anything against him at the moment. That was, what, a 2 versus 4, where he gets a Vandal off an opponent and manages to just wipe the floor with them. Ridiculous stuff once again. And now, 9-5. The defense, not exactly looking great for Guild on a start.
As we said, last time it was a shaky defense, shall we say. And they better have improved, done it a whole lot. Pistols here, don't expect much, but yeah, 10-5. Coming back into that, it's got to be a whole game of Killjoy ultimates, because you got to have it on lockdown.
Hey.
Got him. The Wolf running alongside his best friend, just clearing it out. Oh, look at that. It even pulls Draken off the angle with the flash. And Zipan gets the kill. Heals back up. Side stairs. Plant stairs. What was that? What is this guy, man? He's unbelievable.
I don't even know what to say to that anymore. It's just a frag movie. Like, if someone wants like a really easy job of making a frag movie for Zipan, you don't even have to go off this map. It's just done. He's done it for you. Just ask him if he recorded his POV. Just be like, can I have that? And then just upload it to YouTube. Views. Easy. Probably the easiest money you ever make in your life. For now, Bonker, I want to know what he's going to try and do here. Is this an attempt at a ninja defuse, or is he just looking to die to the spike? Because realistically, he doesn't want to hold on, well, to nothing. It is just the classic. Of course, in Valorant, you don't lose your utility, so he won't be losing any of that either. I think he's just hoping they back away, but considering he hasn't been spotted anywhere else, I would be very surprised.
What?
I don't know what... Was he trying to fake a shock dart?
Like,
I guess that was it, yeah. I think he tried to fake the sound.
Dropping. I mean, his health wouldn't matter at all. That really confused me for a moment. But yeah, they still peeked out. They still watched.
I like the idea.
You know what?
It didn't matter in the end.
But the reality is, FPX have weapons. They don't want to die to the spike. He went down so late that maybe they run away. And they've gone so far that they won't hear him drop. They'll just hear the shock dart. They'll be like, oh, he just fired it from across the map. Like, the thing is, 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work. But the time that it does, you get around, you know? Or...
yeah.
Whatever. It's it just looked a bit funny, like he just damages himself. Yeah. 10-5. FPX leading the charge. They are dominating on this map, and now the weapons come out for Guild. This is where Guild need to show up. If they lose this, the map is over. Almost assuredly. It's Yassine and Safe. 2 guys you definitely don't want to be facing off against, and they're the ones that are... Oh, no! Not even holding the side, and he comes in for more. Zipan appears out of literally nowhere. He is just unstoppable. 3 kills now. And Guild are left with their heads in their hands wondering what the hell just happened. Well, I'll tell you. Zipan just happened. And do what you will to try and pull this back. I can almost feel an ace coming for Zipan.
It is a 2 versus 3 situation. It may look done, especially with Zipan still standing, but the rest of the members of Guild are still going to be going for this. He's looking to try and get the ace. The hunt coming in. It's a kill for Draken at least, and Draken only has 30 HP. Of course, this man's going to finish it off. Zipan on an absolute tear in this match. Wrap this one up. It is done.
My God. I mean, that was the safest bet of my life, saying he was going to ace that. Come on. He's so damn good. 30 kills on the board.
He's got double anyone else.
This is the grand final, Tom. This is literally... if every team in Europe competed in this tournament. Say what you will, format and all that sort of stuff, but on paper, this is the best 2 teams that Europe has to offer right now. And he's got 30 kills. He is more than double the next player on his roster. Who is Angel? Who got 32 kills just the other day on an Astra? Nothing more needs to be said.
I think this might be the highest ACS we ever see of any player. I can't see anyone beating this. The way that this is going, unless Guild pull off one of the craziest comebacks I've ever seen, I think we might be witnessing a record being broken. This is an unbelievable performance. FPX are going to have to change their name back to Zip and Go Kill, because that is what we are currently witnessing as of right now.
You know what, man? Like, let's talk about what how Guild are setting up or how FPX are playing out. Screw it. Let's just watch Zipan. Let's watch him all game long. He's going to get another, like, 5 kills before this is over at least. Shock Dart coming down. He's not going to be tickled up just yet. He wants to peek. Here's the TP. They know that he's up top. They've heard him go up there. Angel, shut down. Spike dropped, but they want to peek further. They want to face, but they don't know it's Zipan right around that corner, just waiting. That paranoia doesn't hit him. He's ready for the fight, and he wins it. He's looking for more. Down to 23 HP. I don't know if he can heal off that. The orb might be obscured. Indeed, I think it is.
Oh. The Seekers have been expended. This will give the information over to FPX of where the remaining players are currently standing. The rotation already coming in thick and fast. They've left one man in the form of Safe just in case there's a rotation. Well, he could definitely heal off that one. Zipan again, but he's finally been shut down. It took Bonker to take him out of the round. Now the showstopper achieves next to nothing. In fact, Yassine is already desperately low, and it's left on to Safe, but it just isn't happening today. 12-5, an utterly dominant attacking side coming out from FPX. And while this is their final stand, and unfortunately, Mitch, I think there's even going to be a few pieces missing in this round for Guild.
That is not the way you want to close this out. By the way, the shock dart down wasn't masking steps. Chat comes in huge. I didn't even think of it. Killjoy mollies, of course. The thing I guess you're not realizing, yeah, Dimisic, of course, could have put the mollies down. I don't know. I thought he'd already used his Killjoy mollies, but maybe. I guess, as well, there's no way to be sure if you're a bunker. So maybe he would have one down. Man, this is, whew. This is, whew, that's what it is.
Oh. Hunter's Fury not quite going to do anywhere near as much as it would have hoped for, and Safe. He's trying to be the hero here. He's been caught out. Dimisic has already pushed his way through, and Bonker, he's trying to save this for them here, but he's already lost. It's left on to Draken. I don't think he wants to come from the shadows. If anything, at this point, I think he wants to hide within them as the peek comes through from Shadow. This was...
As we head into Agent Select, usually Guild play kind of safe here. They like to, you know, rely on those comfort picks, but my man, Angel, Mitch, locking in the Reyna.
Yeah, this is a big change. I mentioned since Astra came out, they've been playing very strong on Split, but when you look at how they played before, Angel was the one actually on the Astra. And not only that, okay, in the more recent one versus Opportunist not delivering, but this is where he dropped like 32 kills, the one before. So interesting to see him swap it over, and in fact for them to completely avoid the Astra pick this
Shadow as well. Shadow playing Omen is the one that surprised. I think they've done this composition once before, but he has never really been your classic controller. Sure, he picked up Astra, but we're used to him playing the likes of Breach, maybe even a Sky, and I think once or twice he even picked up a Sova on this map. So the fact that this is a comp that... let's put it this way. There is a 0% chance that Guild have a direct counter for this composition, because the only time it was ever played was in open qualifier matches. And as an analyst, as a commentator, whatever, you look at those open qualifier matches and go, FPX could have picked whatever agent they want and they would have still won that game. So Guild are not going to have looked at that and gone, well, we need to work out how to play against Shadow on Omen. A marvel to watch. But I think that this... I don't know. I think this map just fits them, if that makes sense. Like, the agent composition, I think Bonker does very well on Breach to actually set up a lot of the teammates. I think Safe as well on his lurks, again, on the attack, is incredible. The only thing is, as said, if there's preparation gone into this, I do not think they'll be ready for this lineup.
Yeah, this is definitely a surprise pick to see them coming through, and a surprise start as they just bomb on up mid, taking those fights as quick as you like, and leaving Guild in the dust. An easy double opening, with Shadow now receiving a heal up as well from Xiao. Oh, but Angel, well, he tries to get his own heals. It doesn't quite work out. 2 individual fights and 2 individual losses put Guild right back in the driver's seat.
Shadow still sneaking his way through. Does have the paranoia available to him, and well, one of the most effective flashes you have in this game. Bonker didn't stand a chance, but Safe is still here. Got a trusty frenzy in hand as well. Multiple targets won't be too much of a problem. Actually, with the time remaining, after hearing the footsteps towards the defender's spawn, they might actually opt to switch back or at least slow down.
They've heard the cam now. So at this point, you know that they know that you're not going A, at least not through ropes. They will have spotted it. That's the spike up above. Safe as seeing it. Safe as seeing players hearing drops and steps. Now they need to push out, though. This is the problem. What does Leo do? Do you go through the smoke and help your teammate? He's going to be shot in the back. So it's all down to Leo, but they don't know he's this close. There's 1 and 2. Leo out of there as well with the heal. 15 seconds remaining. The time is so low. The plan to be faked. It's tapped, but now Leo knows he's not sticking, and it doesn't matter. He wanted to get a good position and push up early, but instead he got a bullet to the head.
That should never have even been close. The fact that he gets away with a couple of kills jumping out of that smoke is utterly ridiculous, and I don't think we can highlight enough how nuts that was. But unfortunately for him, the man up against him in the end was Zipan, and we have just seen probably the best performance we've ever seen from a player within EU Valorant. So again, anybody can tweet at either of us if they have got a higher ACS, even if it is in your matchmaking games. I want to see it.
Well, you know what? I've been sent one by a player called CMD, good old Irish lad. He got 522, so unfortunately not quite breaking the record. Very close, but not close enough. We need more. We need more. Come on. Where's the 524 pluses? I gotta say. And then if you can do it in a grand final of challengers, you know, I'm pretty sure that FPX will have a contract signed for you in a matter of seconds. It's early push. Oh, Drake, and he's just tickling them up, and no one's coming back to punish him eventually. Shadow is there to deal the damage, but Angel's getting a pretty bad start into the pistol. He got shut down. Right here, he's just been right-clicked by a classic and left on 30 HP. Again, though, Shao is on his way to heal him up, I think. No, they're just going to rush in. They're going to go for the kills, and this is the handy thing. If he can just manage to deal a little bit of damage, remember, there was a patch to rain, and that flash! So good, but Zipan's still going for a little bit. There's a flank on the way as well. This round can definitely fall apart. Yassine still has a blast pack and a bookie. 8 HP on Angel, 32 on Dimisic. Angel's down, spike in the open, and here's where Yassine makes a big play. They know where he is. They've spotted him. Now he's by himself, but this bookie, it's dangerous versus this level of health. If he can just force this first engagement, but Shao, he stops the plan to come and help his teammate. That's exactly what they needed to do. If he just sticks it, they could very well lose that. He kills Dimisic, he picks up the Spectre, and all of a sudden it's a 1v1 with relatively similar HP. So very wise stuff.
God, this got extremely uncomfortable for FPX, though. They do eventually get themselves the conversion, but I think there were many moments in this round where it easily could have gone wrong. And what that means, once again, well, we question how they're going to play this bonus round. They actually do play it as a bonus this time. So they're going to allow Angel to have himself slightly lower shields, but then invest into the Vandal. And what that means is he can, if he gets the opening pick, which I'll tell you now is fairly likely. Never mind! Cast a curse. Draken has domed him. I was going to say he can heal back up. Shadow, on the other hand, can't, and chance of him getting away with a second kill is slim to none. The bonus round, this time at least, going the way we expect it to.
Angel's early rounds, man, they are not going well for him so far. It's going to start to feel pretty tilted soon if he can't get that presence, especially because he plays such an important role for this team in taking that mid control and vents. And I know I always say that, but it's because he always does it. Like, honestly, Angel, split, vents. That's a word association right there. You know he's going to push in. Now, if he's not feeling the confidence to take the kind of space he normally does, that's going to hamper their attack a lot. Down goes Zipan, and the chances of this round going their way start to really decay. You've got a Vandal at least, but a 1v3, two of the other players have strong rifles, and even the Bulldog, if it can tickle you up a little bit, that's going to leave them laughing. 30 seconds, no spike. Really, at this point, I think Dimisic is just looking to do as much damage as he can. Winning the round is incredibly unlikely, although he seems to have some pretty good timing. They're still checking for it.
Yeah, they've got 2 players deep already, so you would expect that Bonker is not going to switch the angle that he's holding because his teammate is already covering, and that will mean that they should be able to upgrade the extra couple of weapons as well. The thing is, though, this is where the game actually gets a little bit more interesting. We will have rifles likely across the board. Of course, for Angel, once again, we look at that last round as a hero rifle, but the same stands. If he gets a pick or even now gets an assist on a pick, he can heal himself straight up to max shield, so it really doesn't matter too much. Rolling Thunder and the Res, though, out of all the ults we have on the other side, those are going to be the two that we're highlighting for this defensive side of Guild. They may even look to just give up the site if there's a fast push in for FPX, because they will have the perfect abilities to retake.
Zipan's going, and the question is he going to be killing? He's already got control towards Heaven. They've crossed over, and now they look to take the site. The flash from Angel, through the smoke they go. Draken blinded, naded off, and the ultimate. Oh, Zipan's spidey sense is tingling, and he gets him as well. Draken hadn't been spotted, but he's taken down still. Dimisic wants to join his teammates, and I actually found myself dodging that bullet for him a little bit, dodging out of the way. He comes back and takes the kill afterwards, and a 4 versus 2 emerges. The trade's quick to be found, leaving it all onto Leo. He wants to move forward, has a res, but there's virtually no way to get this down, and even still, you won't trade that res out for a 2 versus 3. He needs a pick. If he finds it, res comes up, game maybe starts to swing their way, but that timing again, so bad. Walking right behind him like a shadow is the Omen of Shadow. 3-1.
Yeah, it is fitting, isn't it? We finally got him in the agent where his name actually makes sense. There's going to be sneaking, lurking in the shadows as a shadow. What I will say, though, again, like, Zipan on the entry there, he even spots where the paranoia comes from, and I almost wonder if Draken's movement is based off that. Okay, I've thrown the paranoia here. That's likely where he'll now shoot the showstopper, so I'll move over to the right to avoid it, and Zipan just read him like a book. Knew exactly what he was going to do, and just ruined him on the entry. And as the solo defender of a site, you can't be going down that easily.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's one of the tough things about being an Omen solo defending on that range. Oh my god, Angel, here we go. We said about his early rounds maybe not going his way. Well, finally, he gets that opening, albeit not in the most important of rounds, but it was a Vandal that he dropped. Retrieved, still. Ooh, you seen? Hello? There we go. He almost got the shot, gave a little bit of a haircut, but ultimately, Dimisic's hat might be bulletproof and saves his life as they cross over to the site.
Where you are.
Yeah, although this battle may be looking like an integral one in mid, the fact is the rest of the team have gone pushing into the B site. After plant will ensue, and the weaponry currently available is not going to be ideal. Now, for Leo, keeping this gun into the next round would be nice. For the rest of the players, they're going to want to die. So the fact is they're going to go hunting. They're going to go pushing. I think Draken has also just found the trip, although he is going to go and Shadow steps through it, so he won't actually be caught up. He is so far away from anybody. The only real plan he can have here is to try and kill someone on the exit.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Again, we spoke about it in map 1. We saw this early start for FPX, and if they don't lose any players, we know just how dangerous that economy can be. Oh, Draken, that's a nice second shot, but only good for 1. Leo, content to save the weapon at this point and walk away towards A. Now, for FPX, 4 players surviving here. They've been fairly dominant in some of the other rounds. Their economy is going to start to look very, very strong. If you're Guild, it's time to show up now. They get a full investment, and if they don't make this work, and certainly if they don't manage to find a couple of kills, this could be an incredibly dominant attack side from FPX, something that I mentioned earlier. Tom, you said that their attack side in general is strong, and then with this composition, I pointed out that, well, I think it's actually improved a whole lot.
Yes, this should do.
If anything, Angel now has the correct agent for doing what he does. Yep. Like, he can still do it with others, but this one actually makes sense. And it means also that if he dies, they're not losing all of their utility, especially when he was playing Astro.
You want to do some word association? Angel, split. Oh, look where he is. He's in vent. That's a surprise. Every single time. And look at how important it is. He's going to go up there and destroy the tripwire. Now the players on A have to be worried about their back. He's not going to commit to it, especially because Dimisic dies, but they don't know that. Now they spend the rest of the round wondering, is this guy coming up through vent? If you ignore that map control, those guys on A, they leave breach where he is. Omen's already on his way towards heaven, but now he has to cover his back. This is so important, and it's why they do it so frequently. Obviously, you run the risk of someone being in there, but that's why it's nice that he's on Reyna. They spotted safe. I'm almost certain that they will have seen him. The cage goes up, and he gets Angel right through it. That is huge. Arez is online. The wall bang's coming in, though. They can... Oh, okay. There we go, Zipan. That kill pulls them back into it. Shadow is low, but he's getting healed as well. A 4v4. That would have favored them if they found that kill. They want the trade. Safe's above, and he's shot in the back. Back into an even situation. This is about as back and forth as ping pong as it can be. But who's going to get that last serve in? Shadow's above and he's low health. Dropped. And it's all left onto Shao. He has the spike. Oh no! Draken! He didn't think they were out. Oh, and I guess it makes sense. You see the way that they were clearing it up above. I think it was Shadow, right? He's walking out and he's looking left and right. It looked like he was the point man, but in fact, he was the one covering the back. What? What was that?
This has to be one of the weirdest rounds I think I've ever seen. Like, so many players caught off by like different angles. I think the from the shadows as well from Draken was actually really solid just to get behind them and delay them for such a long time. You also had the spam through the walls, through the cages as well, and then just a couple of entry kills that actually make things end up working for FPX. They had to invest a lot into this round, but they take it over the line. And once again, it's going to be Shotgun City for Guild. This time with a judge alongside and a few pistols as well, but ultimately they're still in trouble. And Zipan, well, you face off against him. It's the two young guns of the squads, and this time, once more, it is going to be Zipan coming out on top.
So confidence and safe. Oh, with the ball. Never mind. I thought that was his trip for a second, but never you mind. I don't know if you noticed, though, in the new patch, apparently you're going to be able to see the colors of Cypher tripwires, and that makes me very excited.
What about Astra Stars?
I don't know. But at least
Please.
For the Cypher stuff, you'll be able to see. Dimisic, oh, he's got a little bit of a haircut. Here in the shadow step over. Guild would love it to be able to take this round. To be able to take any. Again, we've mentioned the economy situation for FPX, and even despite losing 4 players, they're still going to be in a very strong spot moving forward. But losing this round would put Guild back on the board and maybe swing some of that momentum their way. Zipan found the opening, but it's been traded back. The nade will put a bit of a tough position on the line for Yassine, who gets shut down after another. The trades are there. Bonker wants to cross over, but the judge not able to make it work. And Angel, well, he just pops his dismiss to clear out that there's no one else inside of Vents. They move up and safe. We saw him earlier with this bookie. We saw him try to make it work. Oh no, that was a right click. He right clicked it into Angel, not knowing how close they'd be. He was ready for it, and unfortunately Angel only takes somewhere in the region of 10 damage from it. Even heals himself up with his Devour. That's unfortunate. If he gets Angel, it's very winnable. Very, very winnable. Look at the health of Zipan and Dimisic. He would have a Vandal. Draken would be coming in to help him with a Paranoia. Everything could go their way. And all that defined it, Tom, was right-clicking instead of left-clicking. It was the only difference.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky, but when it comes down to FPX, they're not going to care. And that's something that we see in a lot of their early starts. Like there are rounds where we could say, okay, Guild could have taken that. Opportunist could have taken that. The fact is, most of the time, they don't. And that is why we're currently seeing them already equal a half, and on the attack as well. And that's the thing. Like, if you were to look at pure statistics of FPX on this map, you would probably maybe say something like, oh, they actually win a lot of their rounds on the attacking side. That's not because they're better at the attack, by the way. I just want to put that into context. It's because they're so good at this map, they can still win rounds on the attack, and then they go on to the defense and they're going to be just as strong. The one thing I will say, though, is Guild are also a very strong side on the attack. So I don't think this map is over by any stretch of the imagination, but it gets to the point where Guild have to make a response. And actually, the response they're going for in this round is by taking a risk. And that risk is going to be in the form of Safe, who actually has an operator. So he's going to be able to roam more easily, I guess, when it comes to holding the A site. And now we're going to see some aggression coming out of the remaining players on Guild.
Fairly certain we haven't seen an operator in this series full stop. Certainly not on Icebox. And to see it come out here, it's sort of a desperation play for Guild. They're trying to make it work somehow. Yassine popped his showstopper. He's seen a player, but he can't quite get the kill. Some damage done, but now if he continues to aggress, he's going to walk straight into Shao. They're more than ready for that to come through, and Angel's healed right back up. They called a tactical timeout just before the start of this, and we know Guild love to fight for that garage control. That's why they're still stuck around here trying to make it work. But nothing is coming of it, and with Dimisic taking down Drake, and A becomes that little bit weaker. The cage up as he pushes on through. Doesn't have a clue about Safe sitting there, who even clears out that teleport. That's pretty huge. That's a really good A-hold by Safe, but now they need some info on what FPX plan to do moving forward.
Yeah, because of the pressure that was coming in, they did actually rotate Bonker over preemptively to try and help out his teammate. However, it seems that the read that they've got now is solid. They're going to have 3 players ready and waiting for this push to come in. Yassine's still on an aggressive angle, but he's not going to connect the shot. The time, however, is beginning to tick, Mitch, and we're looking at Yassine getting tagged down. In fact, he's lost. Bonker is going to make the play, but Shadow's so ready for it, and it's left all onto Leo, trying to hold his ground. He will get nothing done. Methodical stuff from the side of FPX. They were ready for everything. Now, all they need to find is safe.
Switching out the Reaver
Give me a corpse.
operator. Trying to pop his ultimate. He wanted the info. The spray's not going to happen. I mean, how many sub 10-second plants have we seen from FPX, either successfully or attempted? These guys are so comfortable playing on the other side of the clock. It's unbelievable. You compare that to anyone else, you know, they hit 30 seconds. They're like, oh, guys, we got to make a decision. And FPX, no. Slow and steady wins the race.
Who would have guessed a Ukrainian in-game leader making slow plays into the site? You know, I could never have predicted that in all my days.
At least they went B. That makes sense.
But it's also how I think that a lot of teams, when they get into those late rounds, they have a almost feeling of panic about them, whereas that was so calm and collected. Now it's going to be a straight change of pace after these slow, methodical rounds. These 10-second rounds, you just highlighted it, Mitch. Well, 10 seconds have gone, and they're already all the way through, looking to try and take over that A site. Zipan has been given the call of go kill, and that's exactly what he plans to do.
They don't know about the player right. Oh, of course he's checking it, man. Zipan's brain is so damn big. They can't leave a single hole in this attack. They know that the player over there has a bookie. Challenging Yassine close range is no longer an option. Certainly not by yourself. And he's just trapped. There is literally no way out. He hopes that Bonker will be the relief that he needs, but no. He's taken down now on 1 HP as we come back to him. He's left on 0 by the end. FPX. This is sheer and utter complete annihilation. And we mentioned that, you know, Guild needed to play a million times better than they did previously, because this comp right now and the way that FPX have been playing recently has been so strong. And if they're preferring this composition over their Astro, which has had success against some of the best teams in Europe, that definitely told us that there was a reason that they were doing it. And, well, I think we're seeing it.
Again, felt like the time to say they need to start winning rounds is gone. They needed to start winning them a while ago on Guild. Now the Boombot is going to give away Angel pushing in towards the ropes, although again, I feel like they would have known that from the fact that he does it every single round, or most of them at least.
Yep. There's the
Bonker re-aggressing over onto A, though, as they do look to still try and battle for control. And this is something that doesn't happen too often.
Oh, what are they doing?
They've managed to pick off the lurk of Demasik.
How did they not know that Angel was coming behind Heaven? He had just broken the tripwire and he shift walked up. That's such a good read by FPX. Last time he did that, they still fought on ramp. They still focused on Demasik and took him down. This time, they push all the way through and still deal with Demasik, but Angel's got the sight, and he actually caught Bonker completely asleep at the wheel. He was walking back into Heaven thinking everything was just lackadaisical, and no. Angel was pushed out on an off angle, ready to take the kill. Shadow comes back up online. Man advantage is now there. Shadow goes back offline. It's a very quick turn of events. Leo being pressured, and he won't get out of there alive. Showstopper takes him down. They had just deleted safe, and Draken is all that remains. They know that he took down Demasik in the early round. No doubt that's being calmed. Angel comes over to cover this push up, but Draken is a good angle, but not good enough. Zipan's third and the 9th round for FPX. Guild, oh man, they are hurting right now, Tom. I mean, we said there's no pressure on these players, but it cannot feel good to be 9-1 down on a map that you picked, on a map that you previously won against this team.
You know what's funny? Like, I'm pretty sure that if this carries on, very soon we're going to have to chat about who's going to be the MVP of the final. I think that might be the most pointless vote ever created in history. Like, it doesn't even need to be rigged. It's just going to be done. Like, Zipan is currently 16-3. He's just carried on from the previous map. Sure, Shadow on the first was fantastic, but dear Lord, this man has been on another level.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, there's no way that you can vote for anyone else. Maybe if we're voting for #1 vent control, it could be Angel. He's in there again. That's comes as a shock to everybody. The crowd gasps in shock. But look, they've actually positioned a player down there to deal with him, now adapting to the control that he's been so proactively taking. It's going to be Bonker down with the bookie, but he backs off after being spotted, and that's kind of a shame, because they know that they're on the low buy. Oh, he's actually going to force the fight. The Rolling Thunder wants to react off of it, but the cover down on bottom mid, they deal with Angel eventually, but hey, it doesn't really matter when you're in a 4 versus 2. You're not going to cry over the loss of your Reyna. Instead, you'll rejoice over the gain of the B site, soon to be at least. Leo wants to peek out and see if anyone's there, and Shadow now knows someone's home, but he gets healed up. In a second, there we go. He gets healed up. It was a slightly delayed reaction. And FPX shift over towards the A site. Well, shift would be the wrong thing, because that implies they're going slowly. They're going quite quickly, but Dimisic is shifting into heaven, and not anymore.
30 seconds
I mean,
left.
this is pretty good. They're going to spot out where these guys are. Guild have a chance. And they're going back again.
Yeah, they ran in that direction to just fake out where the neural theft. That's the thing. Even when there's like a slip up on the FPX side, they're so good at adapting mid-round. Like, basically what happened there was Xiao realizes that he's going to get caught, so he runs deeper into A, and then the second he gets tagged, he starts running back. Now, the time is ticking. If they can somehow deny the plant, they have a chance, but of course, they have a slow available. It's still going to be brought back into a 2 versus 2, and the only reason I'm getting excited, because this is one of the closest rounds we've seen in this map so far. The boost up with the wall will take them forward. Zipan and Xiao, probably the 2 best players to have in this sort of scenario. Leo as well does actually have a res, so they're going to be able to give themselves the advantage, Mitch.
They have the advantage under their belt, not in terms of weaponry, really. But, oh, that's a nasty nade, Xiao! He can't get out of there. Yassine from afar, hitting that right click, and Zipan doesn't stand a chance. Guild, they've finally gotten back on board. They have 2 rounds now to play with, and they need to make it 3. There's no doubt about that. If they don't make this 3, I think FPX have got it in the bag already. You would need one of the most incredible attack sides. Well, you need to do better than FPX, and that's already going to be tough.
Yeah, they had to commit an awful lot to this round as well. You had the Rolling Thunder to start things off, which admittedly did not work. The Neural Theft, which, again, didn't really work, but it was the res at the end, like bringing things back, a few decent individual plays as well, Leo being able to delay them enough to make things competitive, and they've got a round, they got a second at least. It's something for Guild going forward. It's not going to be much of a silver lining, but it's something at least. Again, we're going to see some early presence thrown in. Now, I think the Boombot was almost used as a ruse there to bait that maybe there's more players over onto the B side of the map than there actually is, because Zipan has quickly switched his positioning to try and hold into mid, and they're just waiting to see if there's any level of aggression coming out from this defense. Already, perfect peek from Angel as well, clearing the angle. He's going to spot 2 players up in heaven, and Yassine's going to go diving in, this time winning the duel. But in the meantime, they've managed to find a pick onto the A site, and look how far Dimisic has managed to get.
He's all the way in. We mentioned this A-hold had a couple of weaknesses before, and now maybe even more so. The 3 versus 4, the operator in the hands of Shadow. The time ticking away. They're about to get that spike plant, and it's not a sub 10 second one, but that's purely because they got so many kills, and even more are going their way. That operator, what could be one of the first operator kills, certainly in the first 5 of this series. Maybe the first for FPX overall. This is, well, not looking too good. And with Yassine left all by himself, Tom, I think this is the end of the half. He has to make a huge play. He's already made a step. He's breaking the wall, but the head is spotted. I'm trying to play whack-a-mole here. You say, I like the bait. I like the bait. He doesn't break the wall fully. He waits, tries to get the headshot. That's exactly how you should play against an op, but then the 2 teammates that peek out kind of ruin it all. 10-2. Tom? Is it a comeback? Are you feeling it?
I don't want to say no in a grand final, because it's not very fun if I say there's no chance. But if I'm being brutally honest, no, probably not. I don't see this happening. It would be a beautiful storyline for Guild if they were able to turn this dominant a half. I think the main thing that we're missing right now is we need to see Yassine coming online. We need the style that he had yesterday when he had one of the best performances before the one we saw in the last map. from Zipan.
I really think the way that FPX are playing this, though, is just perfect to destroy Yassine's confidence on the defensive side. Like, they're generally grouped up and holding those slow early rounds. We mentioned they like to run the clock down, and sure, if they get the fights early, they'll go and take them, but if they don't, they're content to just wait it out. Look at this, Xiao is even ready for that blast pack play. He knows that they like to compete for ult orbs in the early round, so he goes up, harasses them, and hopes maybe Yassine goes on top of the wall, because he taps it and looks up straight away, because you know that's what Yassine likes to do. FPX have done their homework on this team a million times over, and we credited Guild with that in map 1 in the research that they had done, but I think the problem is once you get inside Yassine's head, once you take away that confidence from him, as we were saying, you don't want to do if you're like the coach of the team or if you're just the team in general, you don't want to put him into a position where he plays so safe that he can't really dominate. They're doing it just by forcing him to have no impact and have negative impact whenever he does take duels. Look at that!
Oh my.
Xiao just comes up and smacks him. Angel with another man advantage now to FPX despite that early fight. And there's no map control. It's not like they've got a man advantage but have to retake B. B's completely open. They've just gone out and... Oh my god! Angel doesn't get anything for it at least, but he's got no support really. That's
Okay.
what the hell just happened. Leo, hello!
And now they're actually going to make their path on towards this site. The thing is, though, the man up against them, Sick, hasn't had masses of amount to do so far in this match, and they're just going to plant. They don't realize he's actually still here. He can wrap around. The first kill's for free. He spots the man up above. Sick just looking to do it on his own, but the fact is he has a friend, and it's all left to Leo on the back of the site, just trying to pick them apart, trying to find an individual jewel, but the damage that's being done is also being healed. The wraparound gives him a chance, but he can't afford to reload. He's only got one bullet in the chamber, and now he's got none. He has to go for knife kills, Mitch, or at least try and retrieve a pistol. All he can do is look at his opponent, and that is heartbreaking. The frenzy betrays him as no bullets left, and he just has to look into his opponent as he dies.
Did he not realize as well? It looked like he peeked out to try and take the fight, like he was aiming at him. Oh yeah, now someone would have
Pew,
called
pew,
it
pew,
for
pew. Finger guns out.
Finger guns, yeah, they're coming back. They're making a return.
He did make him stop defusing, to be fair.
He did, absolutely, yeah.
He gave him a death stare.
Get off that spike. I told you. Don't be defusing that spike. 11-2, man. I mean, yeah. They're beating a dead horse. Mentioning that Guild are pretty screwed, but they're pretty screwed. Just in case you didn't know. Like FPX, they've now got the weapons to work with, and Guild have fully invested. They are, but they have to at this point. You're not going to play for OT in a 10 straight. Oh, that's not the weapon you want for the range. You're hoping that they'd come up close and try to hold it, but again, they're against Yassine. They know their opponent. They know exactly who they're playing and exactly how to play them. Man advantage sits towards FPX. This is not a round that you will take lightly if you're Guild. Decisions need to be made. 2 HP on Xiao, 60 on Angel after getting a heal up. I mean, he is in danger of falling. His whole defense is in danger. Guild can easily take this and overcome the defenders. And Dimasic, well, he doesn't get much done. Damage, but it's for naught, really. As Xiao falls and on the ropes. Shadow's able to grab a single. Looks for a little more, and he gets it. The trades only have come in afterwards. Way too late at that point. They could have double peeked it, but that delay, it could cost them. Both on the defending... sorry, 2 players alone. Dimasic and Bonker. This is about as even as a round gets, but the control goes to Guild. They've pushed towards the B side. They're faking out the... they're faking out the presence, but Tom, look at FPX.
No one's moved.
They're just staying in exactly the same spots. They're not buying any sort of fakes right now.
Left.
Oh, that's so smart.
It's a fairly even scenario, even still, but the fact is you're not going to expect Dimasic to still just be sat here. The first kill should be for free. The second at least will be traded. But do they still expect the second player to be on A? Absolutely not. Draken's going to go pushing, and the second he goes for this plant, you imagine that's where Zipan's going to start slowly making his way forward. In fact, he's just thrown in the boom bomb, but Draken wins it anyway. He will keep their hopes alive, at least for the moment, but it is far too tight for Guild.
We cut away from that one real quick. Yeah, evidently Draken is very happy about winning, and you can imagine, man, tensions are high. These players are feeling the pressure, not delivering in that 1v1 clutch. You have 7 seconds left. You spot the player already. You go for the plant. Look at this. That when you decide not to plant it, you have to get the kill. There is no way. If that guy was to have blast packed away or to have already been running, you've lost the round. It's a gamble. It's a risk, and it pays off. 3 rounds for Guild, as they attempt that comeback. Look at the speed. They're in heaven already. Yassine just loves to bomb out there and try to take this control. We're not quite seeing it, but they are. They're seeing Vents. They're playing Angel at his own game as he goes to move up into heaven. I mean, they have pressured back the B players, pressured the A players. Now it's time to close in that pressure and take the round.
Oh, the Boombot actually ends up clearing out Xiao. I thought for a moment he had a chance. Zipan is still here. Don't turn your back to Zipan. It's only going to be one this time, but there was a real fear that he could have just ruined the round. I think that's the second time we've seen a right click instead of a left click that would have actually got a kill. Of course, it's not going to be the end of things, really. FPX still have a lot of rounds to play with, but Guild, momentum is everything. Like, the fact is, they won a 4-spy round in the one before this. That has given them at least a lifeline. I don't just mean fighting for overtime. They could, as unlikely as it is, take this in regulation as of right now, but it also gives them at least one shot at a mistake. It also gives them one round where maybe FPX catch them off guard. For this at least, though, chances are it's not going to be much hope for Demasic. And also, likelihood is he's going to want to die here, because saving this into the next round is definitely not going to be on the cards.
Yeah, agreed. He's going to want to go towards that spike. Hopefully find a kill in his way, but nope, not to be. 11-4. You know, the most important thing at this level of play, I think anybody within the Challengers main event, you know, you're top 8, you've got to be able to sit back and say, it doesn't matter whether we're, you know, 6-6 or 11-1 down. You just fight for every round by round. And it looks better on paper, you lose less elo in all the rankings if you get 6 rounds instead of 5, right? That's the way to look at it. Right now for Guild, you know they're not giving up, and you can see it. They're revitalized. The question is it too late? They're behind by 7. The attack side so far treating them very well. Look at that push from Yassine. He's already here, going so fast. He's refound his confidence, but doesn't seem to be paying off. Not in this round. Not just yet. Xiao, he even gets that kill. Angel found one from above, dismissed out. This is just domination. The pacing was good from Guild. They try to use their judge in a really nice way. It doesn't pay off, and now it's a flawless round from FPX. I mean, that's exactly the way you want to set yourself back on the tracks to success.
Yeah, it's a shame as well, because it seemed like in the early stages of that round, Yassine actually had a pretty good read on how Xiao likes to play that. We saw that in the previous map split they actually played. He would even sometimes just boost up on top of that wall and just wait for anybody to try and come over. So Yassine just runs his way, blasts his way through over the top and tries to find the pick, but the second it goes the other way, everything sort of slams to a halt, because he was the first man. Everybody else was still breaking the wall trying to get through. He was way far ahead, so it just falls apart, and again, we just see this train of FPX players just obliterating them. It started once again. Zipan, he's still going to go fighting back for more. This time, though, it's punished. Do they expect Angel to still be in this corner? Oh, no.
This could be a little bit dangerous, we know. Split Vents, that's all you gotta think when you think of Angel, and, well, he comes through with one, surprising them yet again. Draken goes back in there and takes the fight to the Angel, but he's shot in the back. 3 kills already, 21 HP. If he gets that spike, he can teleport wherever he wants, but he has to fight as he goes, and Dimasic's down. He knows exactly where Xiao was. The teleport going to the B site, it's cancelled straight away. He's
so
hoping to
smart.
catch them as they come on through, and he might. Angel's clearing it, though, and he gets domed! An ace already for Draken, but that's not all. He has to get a 6th thanks to the res from Xiao. 40 seconds on the clock. He has no idea where Xiao is. He should be right behind Angel. He should have been there to get the trade. That's what he's thinking. Maybe he'll come through the smoke at any moment, but no. Xiao is repositioned into heaven, and this might be the play that catches him off guard. He's already left side, not expecting it. There it is. Xiao avoids giving him 6. Draken gets 5 kills.